Yeah, we back. We back for another episode. First time listeners, last time listeners, shout out to y'all. Welcome to the I'll name this podcast later, episode 4, if I'm correct. Let me see. Is it episode 4? Is it episode 4? Hold up. I need to check. No, it's not. It's episode 3. Okay, so episode 3. I am your host, Giovanni Ventura, and today, I know normally we start off with a little bit of music, which that will not be changing, but over the weekend, I went to go see a movie called Oppenheimer, directed by Christopher Nolan, and I thought today we'll start off a little bit different. I know most of the time music have lyrics, but I'm really into scores, especially in certain movies. I think he does an actually well job with Hans Zimmer as his main composer. And we're going to start with the one with, I think it's arguably his top 3 movie in Inception. Ooh. This song's fire. Damn. I still remember the first time I went to go see this movie in theaters. It was after he did The Dark Knight, so he already had a high, especially because most people assumed that it would have gotten nominated for Best Picture, let alone Best Director. And this was the first project that he had done. If I'm correct, he got a full scope from the studio. Warner Bros. Said, "Here's the budget. You can do the hell you want." And it was the first one he created, which was Inception. And I think since then, for good or for worse, he hasn't hit this high of. I would argue there's better movies than Inception, but for full creativity, I don't think he's hit this high again. Whether it be with the movie in totality, whether it be with the acting, with the music, with the score. My God, this is beautiful as hell. I honestly forgot how good this was. For the podcast, in order to prepare, what I did was obviously I watched Oppenheimer because it was the latest one to release. But I went to go rewatch his older movies, and I feel sometimes we have to appreciate actors or directors or any profession, honestly, in entertainment when they're willing to take risks. Sometimes it doesn't come out all right? Because no one's perfect. But the fact that you're willing to take a risk, and when you are able to see your vision and it comes together, I think it's when you separate yourself from everybody else. And I think this is what he's been doing for quite a while now. And honestly, rewatching Inception, I feel like it's one of those movies where I feel like it's gonna stand the test of time, but most importantly, I think he's gonna look back to Nolan's career of what he was and what separated him from the rest. And by that I mean, I think it's after watching Oppenheimer, I could easily say that it is he's by far the best director of this generation. I think that's without discussion. Now, I think this is the best part right here is coming up. I'll let you guys just hear that by itself. Right now, it's the background. But when that, hold up. This movie's coming up right now. Woo! Just enjoy this moment. Shout out to Hans Zimmer. Shout out to Nolan. This is Time from the movie Inception. The build-up of this is just crazy, especially if you pay attention in the movie at the end of it, when it's still playing in the background, and then it gets to the final scene where you don't know if it's real or if it's not, even though he left enough clues, if you pay attention, that when he's in the real world and he's not, and he spins his little charm, and you don't know whether it's going to be positive or negative because you're left with the open ending. A cliffhanger, I always want to say, but man, this is a great movie. Shout out to Christopher Nolan. Actually, I feel like I should play one more song because I feel like most of the time I always play a song that's always I feel like I always do songs with lyrics, even though I still want to cancellate that song because that's pretty much the first time we're gonna get into today. Actually, you know what? We'll just leave it at that. We'll play another song for the end of it. But I feel like that's gonna be the song to go to for the this episode because our first topic of the episode is gonna be Christopher Nolan's not only his we're gonna go over his films where we rank Oppenheimer, what I thought of Oppenheimer, and most importantly, I have something interesting because I feel like it's good comparison because both him and Tarantino only have like 10 movies or like 9 to 10 movies. So I think we're gonna compare who's the better director out of the two and how to rank their movies. So first, let's go back to Oppenheimer. So I went to go see this movie with my brother. Shout out to him. I had been wanting to watch this movie for a very long time now, and I wasn't able to watch it opening weekend. So we ended up going on the next weekend after that. And going into the movie, I had felt that I had low expectations or anything, but I feel like out of the most recent movies that Nolan had done, it was probably my least favorite. Because let me see, the last 3 movies he did was Interstellar, Dunkirk, and Tenet. And I actually like all those movies. I don't have any gripes with any of those movies. But I would definitely say that in his discography, it was definitely like for me it was be the bottom. I think his worst movie in my opinion. I know it might be a little controversial, but I would say Interstellar was the worst movie. Yeah. So it was So he did 2014 he did Interstellar, 2017 he did Dunkirk, and 2020 he did Tenet, and then so right now 2023 he did Oppenheimer. So in the last 3 movies, I would say I liked all of them. I wouldn't give anything a bad rating, but I would definitely say that they were my least favorite because he had The Dark Knight, The Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, Memento, and Inception, The Prestige, and Insomnia. Did he do The Following? I don't think I've ever seen that movie. So I feel like it was like a high. So in my opinion, personal opinion, I feel like he was I say it was a roller coaster. He was going downhill. Downhill, obviously, just going from his career. And I'm not saying he was making shitty movies because I don't think any of the movies have been shitty. And Oppenheimer, I would say I would take it over Tenet. I would take it over Interstellar, and I would take it over Dunkirk. Now I wouldn't take it over Prestige. I wouldn't take it over any of the Dark Knight trilogy, and I wouldn't take it over Memento. So that would make it his 5th best movie. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it'll be his 6th. Yeah, so I would have it number 6. But I think one, I don't think it's a bad thing, and 2, I think honestly it's a really well put together movie. I feel like this score is easily better than Tenet's and Dunkirk's. I don't think it's better than Interstellar. Interstellar has actually a great score. I thought that the pace of the movie was amazing. I like the way he does he started his Memento when he goes back and forth with the timelines. When it's black and gray, it's one timeline. When it's color, it's another timeline. The pace of it was great. The acting was great. The score was great. Where I would say the movie's long. The movie's 3 hours. But the funny thing is, I wouldn't say the problem is how long it was because I would argue that there were certain things that they didn't talk about you could have got delved more into. What I would say it's sometimes it felt as if it's crazy. It's almost like there wasn't enough time for the movie, yet there was too much time. It's a weird space of I feel like I grew with the character of Oppenheimer, but there were certain things I wish I would have known more and maybe spend a little time to be less than. Because they spent a lot of time with him being like for instance, like a womanizer or what he was doing, the consequences of him making the bomb, which I don't mind the consequences of the bomb, but instead of the womanizer, I thought it was very interesting in a scene where obviously spoilers, so anybody hasn't seen the movie, where he went to go drop off his son with one of his friends, and I thought that was a very interesting way you can actually delve into a character where maybe they're the most brilliant mind when it comes to whatever. So whether it be a musician, whether it be a artist, right, or an artist, or a painter, take whatever, it would be like Van Gogh, or let's say like a soccer, it would be like Cristiano Ronaldo. Maybe they're the best at their ability, right, like a Tiger Woods, or whatever, but maybe they're not the best parent. I thought that was very interesting, and it was almost even talking about he was selfish in doing so for not taking care of his kid and giving it to somebody else. Ironically, they didn't talk about it too much because there was obviously the movie 3 hours long. It took something else, but I actually thought that would have been very, very interesting to talk about because a lot of times we don't talk about how the price it's to be paid of being a genius, you know. And I feel like that was very well done within the movie. To his character, obviously the movie's called Oppenheimer, right? Who cares? You could argue who cares about the kids, but I still think it was another. It's still a part of Oppenheimer, obviously him being a father, because they did a great job of. Not only was he the father, right, the quote unquote father of the atomic bomb, was just what the Time magazine called him, but the problem was, it's like, yeah, you helped out, but there was a cost to be paid for it. You were ridiculed. You they didn't trust you. Like it was honestly, it did a. That's what I think I did about Oppenheimer. It did a fantastic job of making you feel, even though we know it was during a wartime and we see no war whatsoever because you never see any like people shooting at each other. You felt that within the movie that it's almost like a greater good type of thing where like deep down they probably didn't ever want Oppenheimer to even be a part of the bomb, but it was like the the less of two evils. It's like, yeah, do we want this guy to have information of making a bomb for us? No, not really, but we're gonna have to do it because the other only solution would be us, you know, losing to Germany and us losing World War II. But the fact that like it's almost as if like even no matter how good you do in the world, there's a price to be paid. It's kind of crazy. Like obviously he had to live with that, right? The fact that something as beautiful that he could come to mind with that not only was it now in theory he could practice it, it was then turned to do something horrendous, which is one of the best signs of the movie. It's Einstein tells him, now you're gonna have to live with the consequences of your actions. But sometimes honestly it's like it's weird. It's like it's a little, it's weird. It's like it's about like ego and how ego can drive you to be great, but also how it can show you the envious, the part of you where you don't see the better for other people. You're very what's the term I'm trying to use? Very resentful. It as a great as Oppenheimer was, it was the price to be paid that the government was on you. We talk about it, the wife, how she felt that their whole lives had been exposed. Like, can you imagine that? Just being in an environment where every second, every minute, you feel like someone's watching you, and they actually were watching him. That your whole life is being exposed to what your political parties are, to what you eat, to what you read. You know, like everything. Like if it's a book about Karl Marx and I just pick it up because I checked it out of the library, then now I'm gonna look into it, and that means because of that you're a communist, and because you're a communist, it means you're on the side of Russia, and because of Russia, now we have to arrest you because we don't know if you're good or bad. It's like, oh my god, like damn, dude, all I was doing was trying to read a book. That was it, you know, and it was very well explored how during that time the paranoia of America was to the roof. Something we never seen before, especially, and it's pretty much, it did a great job of like almost like showing you the beginning of the Cold War, right? Of the tension between communism and capitalism at its finest. But obviously during the time of World War II, where it's almost like it's like we we don't like each other. It's like my enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing. That's really what it felt like, and Nolan did a fantastic job of showing you that, where Russia and the U.S. were together, but really it was like, yeah, we're together, but we don't want you to know what we're doing type of thing. And in that, Oppenheimer fell into the trap also because in the Alamos it was said that there was a spy for the Russians, and he also had to live with that. It wasn't just as simple as here's a bomb, make it. It's all those other things, right? It was the women on the that he had on the side, on the relationship with his wife, the constant battle of having to be able to do what you want, of creating the bomb, and the free range of being able to talk about it because you can't even talk about it with other people. Sometimes even outside your own family, it was very secretive, and honestly, it wasn't explored too much in the movie. But I would honestly argue that honestly could break and make a marriage. I would say so many secrets, not knowing what your partner's up to, even though you know that they're building a bomb, but within that you don't know. Well, actually, take it back. You don't know they're building a bomb. You know, she knew that it was something secretive, but she didn't know what it was. Um, but even within that, you're like going back and forth, not knowing if it's for the greater good. You're just at loss. So it's like almost like you see your husband in the morning, they leave, you come back at night, sleep, and just leave, and you're doing that for years. Because if I'm correct, they were at that almost for 2 to 3 years, and to be like that's a large toll on a marriage. And I don't know if it was based on a true story, but I would say I, I know when sometimes guys be like, "Oh, I'm only with that girl because I got her pregnant," like one night stand or whatever it may be. That's literally, in my opinion, what that relationship felt like. I'm not saying that if it's true or not. I'm just saying from the movie that I got and the way Nolan decided to tell a story. Oppenheimer and his wife, literally, I would tell you, were only together because he fucked up and got her pregnant. Because I'm talking about like there was no scene of like a family or even thought they even loved each other. The best part of the scene was when she was at the end when they had a interrogator when they were giving his last hearing that she held it down for him. But other than that, I'm like, dude, you guys like no joke, you guys should never ever be together. It's one of those things where it's like they're together because they almost feel like it's about like procreation, not because out of love. There's you know what, men and women are supposed to uh have kids or something. You know, it's almost like the I don't know if you guys ever seen the show Bones, but the way Bones' character is, the way she's like, she's very like practical with the way. That's really what that relationship felt like. It was just practical. It wasn't like out of meaning. I honestly felt he actually, yeah. If you going by the movie, it definitely felt like he was more in love or felt that relationship with the lady who he was with before her, he got the wife pregnant. The one that ended up killing herself. But I think Cillian Murphy killed it. By the way, shout out to him. I'm gonna say that we got to talk about him a little bit. But he killed that. He he's famous for Peaky Blinders. If you guys haven't seen the show, watch it. He's amazing in that too. He came out 28 Days Later, and Batman Begins. He ended up with Nolan. He's a Scarecrow. So just seeing Murphy, amazing actor. I think Robert Downey Jr. By the way, oh my God, was he good in this movie? He plays Strauss, which apparently he was a living piece of shit. And I don't know if that is true, but the way it's left to interpret, not only was Strauss, very integral in the part of taking down Oppenheimer's image and who he was as a person, but also it made a little open ending that like the John F. I would assume he was behind the John F. Kennedy murder, because the way it's interpreted is like at the end of it he was able to what's it called? He was able to tell I forgot what his name was. He's from Han Solo. He was his lawyer. He just when they tell you like who voted yes or no against you, one of the people he says John F. Kennedy, and it's almost like the subtle like tension between that moment. Like if Strauss was willing to do that to Oppenheimer, what are we be willing to do to John F. Kennedy? Either ways though, overall I think, in my opinion, I do think this movie will be nominated for Best Picture. I do think Robert Downey Jr. will get nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I do think Cillian Murphy will get nominated for Best Actor. I think these are the four nominees. He's gonna get Best Director, Best Picture nominations, Best Actor nomination, and Best Supporting Actor. I would definitely recommend this movie. If you're a Nolan fan, 1000% recommend this movie. If you're not a Nolan fan, I would say if you're into biopics or if you're into good storytelling and tension and visceral consequences, then yes, I would say that. It's tense. If I'm correct, I think it was rated R. That's another thing, because if you guys remember, I love the fact that Nolan always said that in order to build tension or let's say people getting killed, you don't need to do like so much blood. It's like it's unnecessary. You can just do that throughout the movie. Yep, this is the first. Yep, so this is his first rated R movie. So that's kind of interesting. If you guys you've seen all the movies, most of them are not, because the Dark Knight always people argued, oh, what if it was more, what if the Joker you show him killing people? He always argued that you don't need to show things like that in order to feel tension or to feel the build up within a climax of a movie. But which is actually kind of weird. Why would Oh, I guess there were. Oh, never mind. Too bad. I mean, there were sex scenes, so I guess that's why it'd be rated R. Because I'm like, I don't really because there was no killing that I can remember. Yeah. Oh, and that too. I've seen that on Twitter. Thank God I don't think it spoiled for me. But what was, I would say, I seen a topic of discussion, which I didn't mind. But topic of discussion was that in Oppenheimer, they take all this time to show you who he was, the creation of the bomb, the tension between um, Russia and Japan and Germany, and the fact that they had no way of showing you any way out. Like the bomb had to be made. There was no other discussion. Like this has to happen, right? They did the perfect scenario of showing you that this has to happen. But the thing is, they do show you a test bomb before the actual bomb, but they don't actually show you the bombing of Hiroshima or Nagasaki, which I didn't mind. But like, apparently on TikTok and Twitter, that was a big discussion. Like, how can you have this big thing about the explosion and the bomb and the father of the atomic bomb, and not show the atomic bomb when they actually went off? But I felt like, yeah, I understand that he's the father of the atomic bomb, but I feel like the movie, it's literally called Oppenheimer, was more about him and the consequences of him making the bomb post the bombing of Hiroshima, or just beginning, even before that, him having the flashbacks of him, having to deal with what people can do with something that he did in his own right. He always talks about how what I create is not on me, what somebody else does with it, even though him and Einstein had that great conversation. But honestly, me personally, I would argue I didn't need to see it. I don't think the movie. Honestly, don't think it would add it to the movie. In my opinion, yeah, it would have been a spectacle knowing Nolan. He probably would have shown something amazing because the way he's able to direct stuff. So maybe I would have seen a bomb, but not the actual moment of Hiroshima. I don't think it was necessary for the movie per se. But I will say, for good or for bad, it definitely shows you that there was it definitely shows you that the consequence was that the world did change post World War II. That now it was no more a battle of soldier versus soldier, but now nuclear war. And whether that be good or bad, I guess in his defense, if we're gonna say, we haven't had one, but everyone's very well, like, we all know that World War III would never happen again. It would just be a bunch of bombings of each other. So his argument was that he destroyed the world. I guess in some sense you could argue he did, because it definitely changed the world forever. But since we haven't detonated the bombs or had World War III, then I would argue he didn't ruin it. Obviously he didn't know that, right? Because it's way past his time. But I would argue, I don't think he ruined the world. Because we haven't seen the consequence of it. I guess once we make the consequence of people start bombing each other, that'll be our next World War III. Then I guess you could argue that he did ruin the world. But still, I think it was just brilliant the way they made him in a position that even though you weren't the one that dropped in the bomb, you still have some part of how do you say, of liability, which I actually always liked, because I always like to do it in any situation, whether it be in life, like even when let's say something bad happens to you, maybe you weren't the main person that caused it, but you always pay a factor some way. So I thought that was really cool, because let's say, for instance, if I go out with my brother and he gets arrested for fighting, yeah, I didn't fight, but the fact that, like, I was there and we went to maybe a place where we shouldn't have been in, that's also on me. Obviously, is the main. Am I the main one to blame? No, but everyone plays a part, and I think that was actually very well done in the movie. So now, from that, we're gonna go to, because I was looking at it. So yes, Oppenheimer is his ninth movie, and we're gonna rank that with another guy called Quentin Tarantino. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, sorry. Nolan has 11. And Tarantino has 9. So I wanted to argue, one, who's the better director? Who would you take overall, like in the all-time GOAT category, right? You know, doing sports. Give me your top 10, top 20 directors. Who do you guys have higher? Tarantino, or do you have Christopher Nolan higher? So y'all can let me know who you guys think. But I will say this for each one of their arguments. I think the better writer, even though I think Oppenheimer has probably the best quotes I've seen in a while, other than The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises with Bane and Joker. Like so many quotable lines. I would say overall, I think Tarantino probably has the better movies. And like, say if I were to rank them, like to give me their 20 movies and rank them 1 to 20, I don't think Nolan has done a better movie than Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. You could argue The Dark Knight is better than those movies, but what I'm saying is I feel like those first two spots, let's say if you have The Dark Knight over both of those, the next two spots is going to have to be either Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction. But what I will say, though, where you may argue that Tarantino maybe has the better movies, I do for sure think he has the worst movies, because I did not like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like, at all. I really did not like that movie. And then The Hateful Eight, it was, I would argue, like Dunkirk or Tenet. I liked it, but it's also not high on my list. But I do think he does have the worst movie with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I legit don't like that movie at all. Like, at all. Like, I guess you could call it Death Proof. I honestly personally never really considered Death Proof his movie. But if you did, that would be lower. And then Jackie Brown to me will also be the lower ones. And then The Hateful Eight. Like, I think there's an argument to say Tarantino has the worst movies, but he also has the best movies out of the two. So I do think when it comes to writing, I would always take Tarantino. I think Tarantino does a better. I just love their dialogue. Most of their movies, I can just quote so many lines. I think it also needs to be said that if I'm correct, Tarantino has actually had many Oscar winners. Because if I'm correct, when I mean Oscar winners, no, just take it back, just Christopher Waltz is the only one that won for supporting. Because Nolan, that's the thing against Nolan. Nolan has never, if I'm correct, he's for sure never won Best Director or Best Picture, and only Joker, Heath Ledger won Oscar with one of his films. Other than that, he's never been won any of those categories. But if you're asking me, I would take Nolan. Overall, I would still take Nolan as the best director out of them, but it's not. It's close, but I'll still take Nolan, and Tarantino would be close though. I do think with this movie, for Nolan's sake, I think he's already been separated as the best director of this generation. But I would say we're gonna have to start arguing where does he rank among the best. I would say he still has a while before Scorsese or Spielberg. I love Fincher, so actually that's a good one for me. Well, I would take Fincher. But I can't do that. I would do another podcast because Fincher is more of a personal thing for me. Like, I love Fincher, David Fincher, so I would probably still take Fincher, but I don't know. I'd have to actually try to analyze that. Yes. But that was the second topic of the Tarantino versus Nolan. You guys let me know what the hell you guys think. But I was coming across Joe Budden's, I know, horrible transition. Joe Budden's Patreon, because, well, I listen to podcasts. He's one of the reasons I got inspired to do a podcast. And I was watching this clip on the Joe Budden podcast, and I thought it was one, it was hilarious, and two, I wanted you guys to give your guys' opinion. I'll play a little clip, and then we'll get into it. This is from the Joe Budden podcast, Patreon exclusive. The title's called "This Is a Dialogue."
These niggas, and I can't.
Have we not?
I want to hear all of y'all.
Nah, these niggas, it's kind of no disrespect to you and you. That's weird, bro. I'm gonna tell you what I mean. Like, if you fucking a chick trying to fuck a chick, you discussing with a chick about who she want to fuck. Like,
that's where you got it wrong.
No, what type of friendship you're having?
Nobody said you trying to fuck that girl.
No, listen, I'm talking about the girl you trying to fuck. That's what I said to you. I said the girl you trying to fuck. You said sometimes she discussing niggas she trying to fuck.
Joe said, yo, you could be talking to the girl, and the girl is telling you about a nigga that they fucking.
Having a friendship-wise.
He was trying to fuck the girl. Okay. That's a platonic
But
relationship.
a girl you trying to pop, you discussing the next man. Exactly, nigga. That's corny, nigga. At all.
I don't want to talk about no
I don't want to talk about the nigga you like or try to fuck. Never.
I don't want to do that.
There's
Niggas do that.
it's two parts. So this part I think it was interesting. They were talking about if you the discussion started from Joe questioning Ish. Yeah, so he was telling him if let's say he was trying to court a woman and the woman started sending him videos of her having sex with other guys and he's cool with, and that led to an argument of you shouldn't do that, you should be pillow talking, which honestly I feel like, man, I don't know, honestly, first of all, shout out to Joe Biden because you guys are fucking hilarious, but it's kind of crazy how I feel like, see, because some people say it was insecurity. Well, first, I do think what Ish was saying is very insecure because Joe, I think Joe, in my opinion, won this part of the argument because we're going to talk about two of them. But this part, I think he won the argument only because, okay, I understand that it's one thing if you don't want to talk about your personal life. It's like, oh, like, if I'm talking to a girl and she's telling me, oh, no, like, everybody cover your ears. You'd be like, oh, no, like, I like it when a guy does this and this and this. I like it when my head is in this way or whatever's. And then she sends you a video. Then you can be like, okay, that's kind of too much, right? But the only thing was, Joe's point was, Ish is the same guy, if you guys ever seen this podcast, Ish is the same guy who will ask, and Flip also, who will ask a guy, oh, hey, did you hit it? How was it? Was it good? It's like, if you're already going to open the fucking Pandora's box, then what the fuck? Like, that's something I don't get. How can you be cool with talking to your best friend or to your friend about the girl he's hitting, or but obviously not hitting physically, I mean hitting him as in having sex. He's having sex with, what positions they're in, what they did with each other, and then you draw the line when you're talking to somebody to be like, oh my god, I don't want you to be talking about some other dude. Like, to me, that's something I don't understand. Like what's the difference between one or the other, you know? Now, me personally, I feel like I don't know why the fuck you would even be discussing another dude. Unless, like I said, unless she's trying to tell you the things that she does or does not like, then I kind of get it. Like, I feel like you can't pick and choose when the fuck you are cool with one thing, not the other. You know what I'm saying? You can't be at one hand be like, oh, you know what? I don't really feel like we should be talking about that. But then you're asking your own friend, like, if you're comfortable, it's funny. That's my thing. If you're comfortable, then be comfortable about it. That's something I don't really understand. Like, if you're gonna be like, hey, you know, asking your friends about it, then what's the difference if a girl's telling you what she does and does not like, and he's like, oh nah, but you can't be talking to a guy like that. I mean, I honestly don't get it. And then even his friend jumped in, Imani, and that's how I thought he really was making sense.
Okay,
the ass.
Because you my man, Imani.
All right, you've never had a homegirl that you pop here and there, whatever, and you've been open enough, friendly
By
enough
pop,
to
he means
still
have sex with.
conversations about the other things you've done with other people.
See what I'm saying? That's what I'm
Never.
saying.
That's never happened. All of us here, we've had female friends that we popped, correct?
Yes.
We've never had.
And actually, let me pause that. And we had a discussion just last episode. I totally disagree with that. I don't understand. Like, if we're friends, we're friends. We're not having sex with each other. So clearly they're different as hell. Clearly they're different as hell because I don't know who the fuck does that. I don't know. That shit was weird to me. But let's keep going.
Conversations talking about things that they've done with other people and vice versa.
Who you asking?
Okay.
Flip with me.
After we popped?
After, during, whenever.
Not before.
Not while I was trying to fuck you.
Whenever.
No.
What?
No. Not before. No, I'm not
You
discussing
are
another
Michael.
man with you.
Okay, so
if
listen.
I have a rapport with you,
if he's on the phone, right?
Yeah.
He's on the phone, texting, whatever, whoever.
Yeah.
And she's sending little OnlyFans stuff, a little freaky stuff, whatever,
Of her doing it.
with somebody else, whatever.
Okay.
Same thing as watching.
Yeah, once again, you can argue that you shouldn't be doing that, but I feel like once you open Pandora's box of you asking your friend of like how was it and was it fire, I feel like at that point, like I feel like just me personally, I feel like it's insecurity. Now, granted, I would personally not do any of that shit. I wouldn't ask my friend, yo, did you have sex with her? How was it? What'd you do? What position? Like that's just like, yo, fam. There's certain things that are like private. Now I'll be the person like, oh, I'll talk about it. Like I'll generalize things, but never like just go straight up and ask, yo, how did Stephanie's pussy? How was it? Like, yo, fam. Like I would never do that. Now I'll be like, oh no, dude, this one time I had sex and let's say I don't know. I fell off the bed, right? Just an example. Yes, I'm not telling you who it was when it happened. Yes, I'll have a conversation. But damn, if you're gonna be shot, yo, dude, how was it? How was Stephanie? Was she good? Was she not? And at that point, what's the insecurity of you being of the next woman you're trying to date just telling you, oh no, like I like this certain things, and then her showing you what type of things she's like. I don't see. I mean, you have to be. I feel like you have to be very, very secure with yourself, and you have to be very open minded because that is not something you take very lightly in the sense. And then their discussion also led to another one of. Actually, was it the same one? Let me see. Hold up. It was another one of they were talking about. Are you cool with? And I think this is honestly. I honestly want the guy's opinion on it, but let me see. Let me put it real quick.
Yeah.
What? I don't think niggas should be discussing bitches with their niggas.
Yo, you know what? When we get off camera, I'm gonna tell you something.
Y'all niggas front.
To shut all this down.
And y'all
you're
front.
right, but I'm gonna tell you why.
That's the best part.
You think
Both of y'all are fronting.
About
And I
what?
got examples for fucking both of y'all. are
About what?
fronting. Y'all fronting, yo.
Front about what?
About what?
Oh,
I'm
shit.
gonna tell you.
Tell me about what? About what?
I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, tell me now.
Right off mic.
No, you can put it. No. You can tell me on mic. You can tell me on mic.
I can't
Stop
say
doing that,
anybody
go take it out.
potty. I can't, because you're not a podcast. Joe's potting. Go ahead. For sure.
Stop saying that.
He telling you, go ahead.
Nigga, take it out.
Hold up.
JBP, where would you be without the JBP?
I'm not trying
You
to
a type of nigga that after a fight you keep going. Stop.
No, hold up.
Nigga, if she want to give you some
Oh, yeah,
box,
there you
it's
go.
her box to give. I can't police that box.
So suppose he's saying box, but he's just saying pussy. So I think there's a discussion for men, and I think we have to discuss this shit because men pretend like oh, I don't give a fuck if you have sex with her after I did, like it is what it is. But men be having the most fucking fragile ass fucking egos, and most of them are not secure with themselves. So Ish is just talking about how. Even if this, because people, oh no, but it's different if she's my wifey or my girlfriend or girl I was just seeing, guys are on a bullshit all the time. So in this scenario that he's going to talk about, he's talking about how he was with the girl for 9 years. And even though she's been with the girl for 9 years, he doesn't care that if the girl has sex with one of his friends because his argument is the girl's choice. And obviously it's always the girl's choice. But that if she wants to do it, it's like he doesn't care. So... I'm playing the clip real quick.
No, hold on.
finish?
You better stop it. You better stop it.
Hold on now.
Because I'll get that bazooka right out that
You
closet.
can't, though.
nigga.
You can't, though.
You better stop
I
it.
stand by that.
You better stop
Now,
it.
I stand by that.
This nigga. Stop.
It's no bazooka to get.
Stop, y'all. Y'all playing
Yes, it
it.
is.
It's not.
Because if that was the case, then why would you ever be questioning me about why your ex is at my house?
Oh, shit.
Because you made the statement that you would never do that.
I wouldn't do it.
But you did.
No, I didn't.
So let me answer you.
Now
Oh,
you flustered.
No,
Now you
I'm not.
flustered looking stupid.
Okay. That's enough because I don't know if Joe's gonna get mad at me. Be like, oh, you took that shit off the podcast. But once again, this is from the Joe Biden podcast, Patreon exclusive. This is a dialogue. So right there, obviously, he was accusing him of, he's like, oh, I don't care. And then Joe dropped the bomb that's saying, you do care because then why would you be questioning me about why was your ex at my house and et cetera, et cetera. So I think a lot of times men play the part, I think because of insecurity and not knowing themselves, which they had this upfront of who we supposedly are, right, in society. Because I feel like what Ish says, right? Like, oh, I don't really give a shit if my ex of 9 years has sex with my friend. Like, that's a lie, And some guys, I do know some guys that are actually just cool. Like, dude, I really don't care. But those are rare fucking breeds. I would say 99.9% of men do care. And they're just going to pretend to act because it's the cool thing. Like, I don't give a fuck about these bitches. And honestly, I always say this. I would die on this fucking hill. I would die on this fucking hill. Especially me, because I feel like growing up, just like in high school or even like my college years, a lot of guys didn't like me. Not because, well, me because probably my personality, but also because I was always really cool with a lot of women. I was easy to just talk to, or just easy to talk to them. So you'd be surprised how many times you actually know how your friends, I would say your friends, feel about you, or just other dudes because of women. Men be pillow talking up the ass. And when I mean by pillow talking, I mean they be having conversations about this dude and how he's wag. I'm talking about their own friend, how he's wag, he's shady. And I would say I would die in this so that women keep a lot of friendships together from not talking. Whether it be in adulthood, in high school. Like, women know a lot of shit that can expose men up the ass. They just decide not to. But I've always felt that way. That dude, I'm talking about you'll find out how grimy your friend is from a girl. You'll find out how your friends truly feel about you because of a girl. I've had situations like recently how, like I'm talking about how dudes be like trying to act all hard, like oh nah, bro, like, especially like Latinos and mostly because I grew up in the Valley, San Fernando Valley, a lot of Mexicans be like, no, yo, a la vieja, yo le digo que haga. I'm like, dude, like shut the fuck up. That girl runs her ass. I've seen it. She tells me all the time. I'm cool with the girl. Girl be like, yo, dude, like she be showing me text too. I'm like, yo, I don't want to know that shit. Show me text like, oh, dude, what the fuck? I thought you weren't like that. Like, where supposedly, like, let's say, like, they were dating for a while and they're done, and he's talking to another girl, and he be getting all mad when she goes out with another guy. She'd be like, damn, really gonna treat me like that? Oh, are you gonna be like that? I will. That's why I will always love women. Not because obviously I'm just into women, but just because women will legit. I think women can legit put men in their place, especially insecure men. Like that happened to me recently, where a friendship. Well, I wouldn't. Well, I guess you have to call it a friendship, but it wasn't a friendship. Where for years he, we're joking around. Like let's say like amongst friends, we're just joking around. Oh, dude, like I get more bitches or I get more money, whatever it is, right? Well, this guy he would joke around like that. Well, I assumed it was joking until a woman came in. Right, a woman came and you kind of find out who the person really is. But within that, you saw how he would act like around women and was supposedly like this guy supposed to got all the bitches, which he didn't. And even that too, like it was, mind you, this guy's like over 30 years old and he was talking like he was still in high school, which let me know like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like even the turns he was like, oh no, bro, I don't bring girls around because like they're the hoes, and I'm like, okay, first of all, one, I don't believe you get pussy. So second, like I don't believe you get pussy. Two, I'm like, dude, I don't give two fucks. I will never be that guy who's judging a girl or a guy. I mean, dude, do what you want, what you like. I'm the most chillest motherfucker you're ever gonna meet. I don't give a fuck what you do with your life, what you work, what you don't work, anything. Like I don't give a fuck. You're blue, white, blue, pink, orange, whatever. As long as you're cool with me, I'm gonna be cool with you. So this dude was acting super insecure, right? Supposedly, anytime one of us would get a girlfriend or just a girl be talking shit like, oh nah, bro, like, what's the point of getting with one girl? You can have so many. I'm talking about, but obviously we would laugh because we thought he was joking. And then recently, I would say, I don't know, maybe like less than a year ago. Yeah, probably like a year ago, less than a year ago. He finally I finally saw him with a girl. I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, guys. I'm not trying to be funny. You're trying to think, oh no, I'm serious. Like, because he wasn't like, you have your friends for each thing, like friends you go out with, friends you party with, friends you go to movies with, friends you play sports with. Like, you have different type of friends, right? This friend was supposed to be one that goes all the time, but he only got by himself. It's good to get the women. So then, I don't know where he finally got a girlfriend for the first time after like 30 years. So he finally lost his virginity. And then I only knew what type of sensitive ass little bitch he was because most of the times as men you kind of figure it out, but because I never seen this guy in a situation with the girl, he would always make jokes like I just said, like, oh, I get all these women, and I'm talking about in front of, let's say like it's you, me, and like it's you and your girl, and he's like, oh, you get all these bitches, or he'd be like, nah, dude, this was a pussy ass. One time he didn't want to fight this and that, like just like the guys just being super fucking corny, but acting like they got money, or like, oh, they're supposedly drugged. Hey, you remember that shit I gave you last week, whatever, just trying to cool in front of women. So that was his whole motto. And then out of nowhere, he gets a girlfriend, and then we wouldn't make hard jokes. We talking like little light jokes, just like, oh shit, you find out Virginia, you finally got a girlfriend. And I'm talking about he turned into the most sensitive little bitch ever. Like, oh my god, like, dude, like, that's not cool. Like, why are you telling your shit in front of? I'm like, dude, you did this for the last like 10 fucking years. And obviously, we all think he was joking, but he wasn't joking. He was actually just talking shit about us. So then I'm like, oh, so you're just one of those dudes, and like, you just all talk like always. And then and you only got exposed because of the girls, and then the funny thing is, I'm cool with the girl. And I was actually cool with him first, but me and the girl got really cool with each other. And now the girl be like telling me like, yo, dude, like, talking about like, in the beginning of the relationship, like they had problems because and that. And now he'd be like crying over her, like showing time with him, like, oh my god, I'm sorry. This and that. I'm like, dude, like, your insecurity fails to the fucking roof. You're over fucking 30 years old. Like, get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like, why the fuck are you over here looking at, like, you over 30? Don't worry about my ass. My ass is in my 20s. You know. First of all, you gotta figure out about yourself. Like, you're not in a relationship, not because the relationship is bad, but because you don't even know yourself, because you're doing stuff that's out of your character, or maybe it is in your character, but you clearly don't know yourself because you think it sounds cool, or like, oh, what are the boys gonna say? Bitch, I don't give a fuck what the boys gonna say. Like, if it's your girl and do what you know, whatever you like. Like, for example, like if I get my girl flowers every Tuesday, right? He would talk shit like, oh, what the fuck, you get girls flowers? The same guy who was saying that is now if the girl's like, yo, dude, what the girl was telling me like, yo, if I tell him like, give me flowers, you get him flowers, or if I tell him to do this, he does this. Yeah, because that's what insecurity being little bitches. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you never understood who you are as a person, how can you ever love another person? You know? Like, and the first thing, I'm like, damn, if it was over 30, and the girl's young too, she's in her 20s, I'm like, yo, you got a long road ahead of you. Because it's only two ways this shit's going to happen. Either, well, I already told her, I'm like, this relationship's going to dictate on you. When it ends, going to be because you don't want it to continue anymore. It's never going to end on his ass. Because that comes with the insecurity of not knowing who you are and what you like, what you don't like. So, like think about it. Making fun of somebody over flowers and then getting sensitive because we said that it's your first girlfriend. Like, fam, stop. Like, you little bitch, and it's cool. No one's mad about it. Just play your role. Everyone got to play their role in life. That guy's a gangster. That guy's not a gangster. That guy's a professional athlete. That guy's a bitch. That guy's the party one. Like, everyone plays a role. So just play your role, bro. It's cool. You never got women, and it's very fucking obvious. And the worst part is that I'm really cool with your girl, so I know exactly when you're being insecure, and she's telling me how you're annoying the shit out of her. So just stop, and it is what it is. And to be honest with you, I even told the girl already, I'm like, yo, once you guys break up, because I've known the guy like way longer than her, I'm like, yo, she's been really cool, like, aside, and obviously, like, the joke, but I know they're talking about how they have sex with friends, but I definitely don't do that. I'm like, no, it's anything like type of thing, oh, I'm just waiting to have sex or something. No, fuck no. We're just friends, and I told them, like, dude, once you guys break up, I'm still gonna talk to you. I'm not talking to you anymore, because I'm like, I love the when women come and just, I don't know if exposed. I want to say exposed because exposed is the right term, because some dudes really don't understand who they are, so I guess they are getting exposed. But in general, it's just women. I've heard women in high school tell me how this dude didn't like me because of this, or because I was fly with the chick he liked. I'm like, dude, you guys are so fucking corny. Like, just talk to the fucking girl. Like, some dudes would be so fucking paranoid with rejection. I think that's also the problem with the guy I was just talking about, the 30-year-old. Like, dude, like, everyone gets rejected. Like, it's okay. Like, you're gonna go up to a girl. You're gonna say what's up to her, and then she's gonna say, no, I don't fuck with you. You know, or like, nah, you ugly. I do think some women se pasan de verga. They'd be like, yo, shut the fuck up, you bum ass, ugly ass bitch. Okay, dude, damn, you could just say no, you know? But, so yeah, for the rare occasion that's going to happen to you, which honestly I don't think it's ever happened to me that bad. But yeah, your girl's going to be like, okay, cool, you know, you vibe, and then you get her number, or she'd be like, no, fuck off. I mean, obviously not say fuck off. Hopefully you just no. That's it. Like, it's nothing, man. It's just, you got to be cool with rejection. And honestly, I actually saw on a TikTok recently, I thought that was kind of cool, where people have a group chat of just rejections, so like that you can normalize it. And I thought that was actually smart and kind of cool. So what they do is, let's say, they'd be like, "Damn, bro, I went up to a girl, like this girl who was like a 9 or a 10 at the market, and I tried hitting her, and she just rejected me. She was like, yo, get your bum ass right.' And then he tells that story into the group chat, and then another guy would be like, "Do you think that's bad? I was at a concert, bro. I was offering some drinks, and she just bought the drinks and left me. And then when I tried to go back up to her, she's like she didn't know me. Like, shit like that. Because like that, you normalize the rejection, and you're just like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's fucking normal, bro. And the good thing about, at a young age, it was like I was told by older people, and I think actually my second brother, I think he told me one time. He's like, dude, the worst thing a girl can say is no. No, actually, no, it wasn't my brother. It was a friend from high school, but he was older. He's like, a friend, he's like, all the girl can say no is like, it's true, so that's it. And this 30-year-old, you can clearly tell he's never been rejected, even though I suppose he got so much pussy. And the reflection of that is now, how it looks now, because now he's doing everything that he said he wouldn't do for a girl. He's doing it. And aside from him, I think in general, in relationships, getting off of both of them, I think that's a recipe for disaster, because let's say you have 10 qualities, right? And out of those 10 qualities, she doesn't like, let's say, 2 of them, so you kind of tweak certain things. By being tweaking, I mean, let's say when we get in a fight, I like communicating through text, right? That's the way I communicate. She prefers to do it in person. So I can tweak certain changes in myself. I'm like, okay, you know what? Because in a relationship, you have to learn how to compromise. We're going to now communicate when we have something that is bothering us in person, right? But you're still open to communicating. The problem is with certain people, like for example, not him, but just the 30-year-old, but in general, is that when you become the person who never communicates and then only communicates because of the girl, and then you're the guy that never wants to buy flowers for the girl, like right? Because supposedly that's too corny, but then you do it because of a girl. When you start doing a whole 360 of the person that you used to be, then that's never gonna work out because she's not falling in love with the person you are. She's falling in love with the person that she envisions. And I think a lot of times in love, we fuck up in falling in love with the person's potential and not who they are. And that really fucks up relationships because you have to accept for the person for who they are at the moment. And then, yeah, they can kind of change here and there, but you got to understand you can't fall in love with that person that in the future because then you're just hurting yourself in the moment, right? Because then you're going to be like, damn, well, I keep telling him to, I don't know, let's say, open the door for me, right? For example, open the door for me when I get in the car. He's not doing it, right? But you're hoping he will be that one day. No, just if you're going to like somebody, like them for who they are. And obviously, that doesn't mean you don't change because there's always certain things. As a person, you should always evolve. I always truly believe that. You should change and evolve. And obviously, in a relationship, you have to change and evolve. But the reason I bring up the 30-year-old because he's a clear example of he does not knowing himself and just clearly changing. That's how I'm like, this shit is, it's just not going to last. And if it does last, he's going to be miserable as fuck. And once he's miserable as fuck, he's going to resent her because everything he used to do, she won't appreciate it. And then it's just a ticking time bomb. No pun intended to Oppenheimer, but it's literally a ticking time bomb. Tick, tick, tick. But I think overall, I think the point is love women because women will clearly show you who your friends and friends are not. Women have power over us, man. We just call it as it is. Like, men are super insecure, and I know Ish was trying to cool earlier, like, oh, nah, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, a lot of dudes give a fuck. A lot of dudes give a fuck if you have sex with one of their ex-girlfriends, ex-girls you just hook up with. A lot of guys don't have a problem. I think a lot of times the only reason they don't care is if they didn't know. And by the end of that is like, let's say I had sex with a girl, and then my friend, she never told my friend that we hooked up already, and they ended up hooking up with each other. And I feel like at that point, it's like no one ever told anybody. And by the time you find out, you're kind of like, oh, well, no one knew. So you just kind of eat it. But other than that, most of the times, it's like, no, what the fuck, why didn't you tell me? You're my boy, all that bullshit. But sometimes men be having some fragile ass egos, and don't let that shit get confused. Some of y'all motherfuckers be fucking sensitive than a motherfucker. All right. Wow, that was a good couple of topics. The next topic, by the way, I'm letting you know right now for next week. The next topic is gonna be all about Drake and where Drake ranks among the rappers, the greatest of all time, and how the concert was. Because I'm going Monday. Shout out to everybody. If y'all see me at the motherfucking concert, don't be afraid to say hi. Say hi. Let me take pictures. I'm with it. It's let me see. Hold on, give me a sec. Okay, so I was looking at it. I'm going the 21st on the Monday of August at Crypto Arena. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going Monday. So if you guys are there, say what's up. I'm going to go a little bit earlier. Just to buy some merch and get my seats ready. I don't want to be like rushing or anything. But if you guys see me, say hi. You know what it is. Take a picture, whatever. Good vibes, good everything. But next episode is going to be all about the Drake concert. It's going to be just saying how great he is, how he's the greatest of all time. And I already know this is going to be good because I've heard great things about it. But still, I'm really excited about it. He's actually news about the Drake. It would be that I know I was saying I was gonna talk about the For All My Dogs album, but apparently he says that 40 got sick, and he's told everybody to wish him well. So obviously he's his mass engineer. He's gonna mix and master everything. So it's gonna take a while. But either way, once that comes out, then I'm gonna talk about it. Even though I was telling you guys earlier that I would hate it if he dropped it and then didn't perform the songs on that day. So at this point, since I'm going Monday and I doubt he's gonna drop the album anytime soon, and he won't perform any new songs, I'm really hoping he drops that album after the tour. So then when he does a tour again, I can go see him perform those songs. Because I'm gonna get really pissed if like he like, can you just imagine he does that shit? Like it was just like the what's it called, the album, and then let's say he leaves LA, he goes to Chicago, and then in Chicago he starts performing the new songs. I'll be so pissed. But listen, bitch, you shouldn't have done that shit. But yeah, man. So that's the next episode. So the first time listeners, thank you. Last time listeners, thank you also. Shout out to the 9 to 5. Shout out to the entrepreneurs. Shout out to the people that just give good vibes. Shout out to the women. Shout out to the ladies. Ladies are the best. Shout out to the men that are real, not insecure. And I think I'm going to end today's song with, I think we did a score. I think we just only right to hear a score, which I will take from Hans Zimmer. Shout out to Christopher Nolan. The Dark Knight, which I think is his best movie. And the movie that should have got nominated for Best Picture, even though they robbed us of that bullshit because they were being stupid and they had to change the rules. So this is The Dark Knight, original score by Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard. Actually, hold up. I was thinking about playing that one, but you know what? I'm going to pick another one. There you go. Let's do a Dark Knight. I was thinking about the other one, but this is the best one. A hero carry anybody. You're the man who put it on both shoulders. There you go. All right. So this is, once again, is James Newton Howard, Hans Zimmer, A Dark Knight from the Dark Knight trilogy. The Dark Knight. Shout out to Christopher Nolan. And shout out to all you guys. And this is his masterpiece. All right, that was A Dark Knight, and I will see you guys next week. Shout out to Drake, shout out to y'all, and let's have a good one. Have a good weekend, good vibes everywhere. If you're gonna get drunk, get drunk. If you're gonna smoke weed. And if you're just gonna chill this weekend because you're tired from work, then do the same thing. But let's have some fun. All right, peace, guys. See you guys later.